Last year, Elliot Page, the Oscar-nominated star who you may know from the likes of Juno and Vanya in the Umbrella Academy, came out as trans. Cutting boards are essential kitchen gear, so it's no surprise they're much disputed among cooks. It's probably fair to say that Page is one of the highest-profile celebrities to make the transition so far, and as such, the announcement resulted in a wave of worldwide publicity and attention. Millions of fans showed their support, while Netflix and many other entertainment companies followed suit. Now that we're well into 2021, the dust on the initial story has obviously settled, but Page is still making headlines. Aside from hype beginning to build for the Umbrella Academy Season 3, as we get closer and closer to it hitting our screens, the actor has been in the news recently after sharing a shirtless poolside photo on his Instagram account, which you can see in the gallery down below. Page certainly looks happy as can be in this shot, and many people are indeed commenting on the post that they're glad to see him enjoying life so much and that he appears to be in much better spirits than he's been in the past. But what's next for him beyond the aforementioned Netflix show? Well, reports over the last few months have said that Elliot Page has been getting more job offers than ever lately, including chances to direct and produce as well. You heard plastic is safer, or is it wood? Does it matter what type of wood? And what's the deal with glass? A lot goes into choosing the best cutting board for your needs, and it doesn't help that the market is saturated with options. But, friend, that's where we can help. Think of cutting boards like mattresses. The model you love is probably going to differ from the one your mom, friend, coworker swears by. But the next place we're likely to see the actor is in the Umbrella Academy Season 3, which will probably be with us in early 2022. And since you're going to spend a lot of time using it, you want to make the right choice. We've scoured the market to narrow your options down. Here, the 15 cutting boards we love and recommend. The best cutting board winners at a glance. Best overall. Acco Good Grips Utility Cutting Board, Best Plastic Material, the Reboard, best for chopping. Teakhouse Wooden Cutting Board. But before you buy, here's everything you should know about choosing a cutting board. What cutting board material is best? Plastic or wood, or glass? The good news? We can narrow down your selection right away. And though plot details are still being kept tightly under wraps, we can't wait to find out what comes next for Page's Vanya and the show as a whole. Glass cutting boards are, in our humble opinion, the worst. They're easily breakable and hard to clean. They make a noise akin to nails on a chalkboard when your knife hits them, and they destroy your knives. If you value a sharp knife, don't use a glass cutting board. That leaves you with two main options: plastic or wood. The bad news? The answer isn't as cut and dry as you might assume. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. You've probably heard that wood is better for the longevity of your knives, and that's true. But wood cutting boards are more expensive and heavier, and also require regular upkeep, i.e., oiling, to ensure they last. You also can't put them in the dishwasher. On the other hand, plastic cutting boards are usually pretty cheap, don't take up a lot of space, and can be tossed into the dishwasher for easy cleaning. But they're not as gentle on your knives, and they don't last as long as wood cutting boards do. Within the wood category, there are a few options too. End grain boards, with the ends of the wood facing up, like a cross-section, are gentler on knives, more resistant to cuts, and will hold up better over time, but they are pricier and prone to cracking without proper care. Edge grain boards, with the edges of the wood facing up, are more affordable, but they'll wear down a knife blade faster and show scratches. There are also bamboo cutting boards, which, for our purposes, we'll group within the wood category, even though they're technically grass. More on those later. What cutting board is best for raw meat? For a long time, plastic cutting boards were the gold standard for raw meat, fish and poultry, because they're less porous and easier to clean and sanitize. But studies have since debunked this myth. A new, smooth plastic cutting board is easy to clean. Yes, but once your knife leaves deep grooves and nicks, it's a lot harder to get rid of lurking bacteria. A University of Wisconsin-Madison study found that hardwood surfaces, like maple, actually trap bacteria beneath the surface, where it dies instead of multiplying on the surface.
The USDA confirms that consumers may use wood or a non-porous surface for cutting raw meat and poultry, so as long as you're thoroughly cleaning and sanitizing your wood cutting board, and/or using a separate one for raw veggies, it's perfectly safe to use for prepping raw meat. With that in mind, we ultimately prefer wood cutting boards over plastic, largely for aesthetics and durability. But there are a few plastic cutting boards we'd recommend, which you can find below. How to take care of your cutting boards. No matter the cutting board, you'll obviously want to keep it clean. Plastic cutting boards can go in the dishwasher, but wood cutting boards must be hand washed, otherwise they'll split and warp. Hot, soapy water will do the trick for everyday cleaning. To sanitize, use a dilution of a quaternary ammonium-based cleaner, like Mr. Clean. Pest. This NC State University article is a good primer on proper sanitation of both wood and plastic cutting boards. If you're investing in a wood cutting board, you'll want to maintain that board so it lasts for years. Luckily, it's not difficult. Wood cutting boards require seasoning with oil, kind of like cast iron pans. A food-grade mineral oil, such as John Booz & Co. Mystery oil, will do the trick. After cleaning or anytime your cutting board looks dry, saturate all surfaces with the oil and rub it in with a soft cloth. Let the oil soak in overnight, then wipe off any excess the next morning. How can you tell if your board is properly seasoned? If liquid beads on the surface, you're good to go. This will prevent your wood cutting board from warping, splitting or cracking. Any accumulated scratches can be sanded out, but if it cracks or splits, it has to go. The same rules apply for bamboo boards. Now that you know the basics, you can choose the best cutting board for your needs. 15 cutting boards we love. 1. Acco Good Grips Utility Cutting Board. The best overall cutting board for the most part. We're partial to wooden cutting boards, but we recognize they can be pricey and time-consuming to maintain. That's why we think the Acco Good Grips Utility Cutting Board is an all-around winning choice. It's inexpensive and easy to clean, and it comes with a bevy of appealing add-ons that make it stand out. The soft, grippy sides ensure it won't slip beneath your knife. The non-porous BPA-free material won't pick up onion or garlic odors over time, and it won't immediately dull your knives, and the juice groove keeps liquids from spilling over the edges, though it is slightly shallow. Its 10.5 by 14.5 inch surface area is big enough for slicing and dicing without taking over your entire countertop, and it should easily fit in your dishwasher for cleanup. Pros. Cons.